Today, I want to talk about the role that flaws play in social anxiety. So this idea of people are going to reject me because of my flaws, or things go badly because I have certain flaws. This is a crucial part of social anxiety. It's in some ways a central part of social anxiety. This underlying belief that if my flaws are revealed, and a whole series of things will go wrong, leading to me getting rejected. And that belief that the flaws will lead to rejection is what kicks in our experience of social anxiety. So all the self-protective things that are causing us to be submissive or to back away, to hide or protect. And this is very important. So if you've watched any of my other videos, you probably come away with the understanding that the real problem at the heart of social anxiety is that self-protective behavior. The attempts to self-protect are what maintain the anxiety over time, and they're also what cause disconnection from people and not meeting those social goals in life. So a large piece of what I'm always working on is how to start to drop some of this self-protection. So flaws are very important in this, because what we perceive as being our flaws are what get us into this whole need to self-protect in the first place. So let's talk about flaws. People come in for treatment, right? The very clear idea of these are my flaws. It can be physical. I'm too this, too that, too short, too skinny, bald, acne, bad teeth, whatever, physical ones. They can be, I have social skill flaws. When I talk, I stutter, and I don't say cool things, I don't speak enough, my voice is too much like this, like that. I'm not funny enough, witty enough. This is things that are more traits like that, or like I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not this enough. These things will be displayed to people, and when they see them, they will reject me. I'm too anxious, my anxiety will come across, people will see it as weakness, they will reject me. So it's a simpler version of kind of the model, but it emphasizes flaws in this. So my flaws will be revealed. So this is really important to think about flaws, because for most people, those flaws are the reason they're protecting. They're trying to protect against the flaws being shown and the flaws leading to my rejection. So what is important for me to think about is we don't want you self-protecting. That actually drives the anxiety, that actually causes the problems. So we want you to drop the self-protection. And one way of thinking about that is your flaws maybe aren't as big of a deal as you think they are. Your anxious brain, your threat system, might be exaggerating how bad these flaws are. So firstly, we all have flaws. All of us have flaws. I have plenty. Everyone else has flaws too. Whether or not you notice them, it's a different issue, but everybody has flaws. We will always have flaws. It's part of being human. It just is. Just how it is. You get rid of one flaw, you'll just go to the next flaw. Like I know those people who are like, oh, if only I could change this one thing, then it'll all be good. And what we discover is they fix this one problem, and it's just, oh yeah, but now the next thing. The people say the flaws cause, these flaws are the reason everything's going wrong. We inevitably find out at the end of treatment it wasn't the flaws, it was the self-protection. So we'll always have them. We will always have some, at least. Good news, people are far less focused on your flaws than you are. I see this all the time. We're so hyper-focused on whatever is wrong with us that it gets bigger and brighter and it takes up our attention. We're really aware of it. For other people, they're looking at everything in context. There's a lot of different competing sources of stimulation. So they're looking for all these different pieces of things. They don't pick up exactly the thing you're talking about all the time, exactly your flaw. They might see it, but in context. Again and again, everybody else not as focused on your flaw as you are. They're not paying, they have their own stuff that they're probably focused on instead. And they may not see it very much. They may not care about it a whole bunch if they see it, but they're definitely less focused on it. We'll always have them. We have flaws. We are far more upset about it than anybody else is. If we try to get rid of flaws and if we never interact until they're gone, we'll never interact at all. So we need to accept we have flaws. If you wait for the flaws to go away before it's okay to talk to people, you will not talk to people, which was honestly a large amount of my college experience. There'd be somebody, this is sort of a dating anxiety example, there'd be people that I'd find attractive and I wanted to talk to. I liked them, but whenever I saw them, I would very quickly be aware of my flaws. Oh, I'm too anxious. I can't let them see me when I'm anxious. Oh, I have this acne. I've got to wait a few days till that goes away. Or I haven't thought of anything cool enough to say. Let me go find some stuff. Like I would keep thinking these flaws would come out, and so I should wait and interact when my flaws were gone. And of course, the upshot of that is I just didn't interact with them. I'd see people I liked, and instead of moving towards them, I'd go and hide, pretend I didn't see them. And then I'd wait till I was feeling much better, which of course I never was. There was always some other flaw. And in the end, I would end up interacting with people I was not into and then ignoring the ones that I was, which worked out terribly. So, in contrast, I got braces as an adult, like when I was in grad school for clinical psychology. I got them really late, and I had this idea that it was going to kill my dating life because I was a guy in his late 20s with braces. I thought it would go awful. And I'd done enough work on all this stuff and all my research into this area, and I've been doing this for such a long time, that I didn't, even though I had the thought and it made me anxious, I didn't believe it. I was skeptical of it. I didn't dismiss it, but I was skeptical. And I did the scientist thing where I'm trying to test it out. But the other thing was, I was very aware that the problems are self-protection. The problem is not being warm, not being friendly. So I decided that I would be flawed and friendly. Not either or. I'd have my flaw, accept that it was there. I couldn't hide it, and it wasn't going away for 3 years. So I was accepting that it was there, and I was going to be friendly. I couldn't choose to get rid of it, so my choice basically was be flawed and cold and isolating, or be flawed and be friendly and warm and curious. So that's what I did. I got my braces on, and I was deliberately warm, curious, friendly. And it ended up, despite my fears, it ended up being like the most successful kind of like dating period of my life. So who knows why? There could be a bunch of different reasons, but all we know from that is that idea of the braces wasn't a flaw that killed all my chances. I can't say that it probably helped, but it didn't kill everything. So the important part is that I was choosing to be warm, curious, friendly while I had the braces. So you have flaws, and there's a very good chance you think those flaws are going to cause people to reject you, and you are starting to protect against it somehow. So, common ways being to hide or try to hide the flaw, or to work around the flaw, or have people not notice it, or have them think it's something else. and a lot of it's also just backing away and avoiding interactions. So what we want you to do instead is accept the flaw, own it as part of you. And you can do some exposure, which can help this, which is just purposely get yourself used to it. There's this mere exposure effect, which means that just by being exposed to something, we get used to it and we start to think it kind of looks better. So you can use that on yourself. So just spend a lot of time like engage with the flaw and accepting the flaw until you kind of get used to it, rather than backing away and hiding from it. It's a part of you. Just get used to it. There's a really good chance you're exaggerating how big of a deal it is, but that's something for a different video. Accept that you have it, get used to it, and then choose who you want to be as a flawed person. Do you want to be flawed and cold, bitter, isolated? Do you want to be flawed and friendly, flawed and curious, flawed and warm? It'll go much better if you do that. I think of this all the time. I still get acne all the time, and I'll remind myself of this. I'll be like, oh, acne, I'm sick of it. I'm too old for this. But I will tell myself, okay, got some acne. Are you going to have acne and be cold? You're going to be acne and have acne and be friendly. And I'll choose being friendly. This is all the stuff that we're getting at. It's to try to stop this self-protective behavior, because the self-protection maintains the anxiety and cuts off connection. If you are afraid, if I show my flaw, I will be rejected, don't believe it. Identify exactly what you think will happen and why, and then go and test it out. Do it multiple times. See what happens. You will tend to find it goes a lot better than you expect, because our threat system automatically exaggerates. And if you can break that belief system, if those flaws are like the guy from the beginning, like if sort of for me, like those braces, if I can break that belief system of braces are going to get me rejected, people will look down or be disgusted by it. If I can break that, my anxiety is going to start to come down. So if you can identify exactly what the flaw is and what you think the person's response will be, and if you can test it out and find that it's actually neutral, fine, or maybe people are not into it, don't like it, but it's not a huge deal, then that's going to help cut off the social anxiety. Okay, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this, rate it, that'd be great, and then ask me any questions if there's certain topics you want to hear about or questions you have. Okay, thanks.